Hey there, Minecrafters, and welcome to episode 2 of Going Places, your complete minecart tutorial. Today we're going to be going over the basics of powered rails and detector rails. We're going to be doing some basic minecart station components and some basic redstone components. This is a very full episode. We've got a lot of information, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, a powered minecart rail, when not receiving power, has a dark red color and will act as a brake. However, once that rail receives some power, it turns bright red, as you can see, and it acts as a booster. Now, a powered rail will boost a minecart in one of three different situations. Situation 1 is when the minecart is already in motion, and the powered rail will boost it in the direction that it's already moving. Situation 2 is when the minecart is stationary, but one end is against a block, in which case the powered rail will move the minecart away from the block. Situation 3 is when the minecart is stationary but on an incline, in which case the powered rail will boost it downwards. Detector rails are very simple. They're basically a pressure plate in rail form. Whenever a minecart goes over it, whether empty or occupied, it will power all adjacent blocks. Now, as you can see, these powered rails have power all the way out to here, and that's because whenever a powered rail receives power, it will transfer that power up to 8 adjacent rails. It's important to notice that neither powered rails nor detector rails will form curves. They'll only form straight tracks. Now that you guys have got the basics down, I'm going to show you how to build some actual components that are going to be used when you build minecart systems. An inline stop is designed so that a minecart can come in, stop temporarily, and then continue out. I'm going to show you how to build two different types. This type, a corner stop, is my personal favorite. I just like the way it looks. The way it works is a minecart comes in along the receiving line, stops at the corner, and then continues out along the outgoing line. Very simple to use. And they're actually just as easy to make as they are to use. First, you're going to start with some powered rails, and you're going to want to build one more powered rail than you need in the finished product. The reason for that is that you're then going to build the receiving line. And when you build that receiving line, you don't want it to line up with the powered rails. Then, you build the outgoing line, replace the extra powered rail with a block, and add a power source. And it's done. One of the weaknesses, though, with a powered corner stop is that it is unidirectional. Now, that means that a minecart has to come in along the receiving line, and it has to go out along the outgoing line. If you want to get over that weakness, you have to come over here to the hill stop. Now, in use, a hill stop is basically identical to a corner stop. It comes along, stops, and then you give it power to make it continue. One of the strengths of the hill stop is that it is bidirectional. A minecart coming in from either direction can be boosted along. Now, building a hill stop is actually very slightly easier than building a corner stop. All you need to do is dig a 3-wide trench, fill that trench with powered rails, and then build normal rails on the outside. And it's done. Now that I've shown you how to build these basic inline stops, I'm going to show you a way to beef them up and make them more useful. And that is going to be done by using a delay stop. Now, when building a delay stop, first you're going to start with a basic inline stop. I'm going to use this here corner stop. And then what you're going to do is you're going to replace one of these rails, at least one away from the powered rails, with a detector rail. Now, the reason that you can't replace this one that's right next to the powered rail is that if you do, this will power the powered rails automatically, and you don't want that. You want for the minecart to stop for a bit. What you're going to do then is you're going to wire that detector rail up via some repeaters to the powered rail. You're going to set the delay on the repeaters to however long you want the minecart to stop. And then the way this works is that a minecart will come in, stop temporarily, and then you don't actually have to press a button. It just stops and then starts up again all on its own. In order to increase the time that it stays still, all you have to do is add in some more repeaters. What I've got for you here is something a little bit more complicated. It's your basic empty cart detection system. When this is installed in your minecart station and an empty cart gets away from you, it won't make it out of the station. It will in fact come right back to the entrance. However, when you're in the minecart, it will make it out. The reason that this works is because, as discussed in the previous episode, an empty minecart carries less momentum than a full one. In this case, not quite enough to make it up this hill. When building one, you're going to start with 2 powered rails, one more than you need in the finished product, and 1 normal rail. Then you're going to build this curve just like this. Then you're going to use another rail to close up this intersection. You're going to place a block to serve as the base of the hill. Replace your extra powered rail with a block. And add in a power source. And it's finished. When you're building things that are a little bit more complicated, you're going to have to get comfortable with the fact that you can't build your rails in a straightforward manner. I had to build things in little pieces and make sure that everything was lined up properly, because you have to worry about your intersections. Intersections can be very finicky, and you have to build them in just the right order, and thus you're going to have to build things in sort of an counterproductive way sometimes, and you're just going to have to get used to that. This is a Pez dispenser. It's used to store minecarts and is the most complicated thing that I'm going to show you how to build today. It consists of an entry ramp, the Pez dispenser itself, a hatch, an exit ramp, a little redstone gate that I'm going to teach you a little bit more about in a minute, and the call button. When you press the call button, the Pez dispenser will send out 1 minecart. Now, the best way to show you how this thing works is going to be to just go ahead and show you how to build it, which is what I'm going to do right now. You're going to start with 1 block, then you're going to go over 2 blocks, and then start building your entry ramp. I'm going to build the smallest one you can build, which is 3 blocks high, for a reason that I'm going to tell you in just a minute. Then after you're done with the entry ramp, you're going to build out 2 blocks, then up 1, then you're going to get rid of these extra blocks so that it looks like this. Then, regardless of how tall your Pez dispenser is, you're going to go to the 3rd block from the bottom, build out 1 over 1, destroy this extra, so that it then looks like this. Then you're going to take powered rails, put them up the entry ramp with a redstone torch to the side so that these powered rails are always powered. You're going to take more powered rails out here for the exit ramp. Again, a redstone torch. Then you're going to put this hatch here, and it's very important that you put it against this block so that it opens this way. And the reason that a Pez dispenser has to be at least 3 blocks high is so that you can put this block here. Any lower and it won't work. Now, as it is, the Pez dispenser itself is actually complete now, but it won't work yet. To make it work, we have to make this hatch open for 1 tick. And 1 tick is 1/10 of a second, and it's the shortest amount of time that Minecraft deals in. We're going to build a little ramp going up to that block and place some wiring going up to it. And then we're going to wire this up to an aptly named 1-tick pulser, which is going to send out pulse for 1 tick. Now coming back from this wiring, you're going to go back 2 and place a block. Then from this block, you're going to go back 3 more and 2 to the side and place another block. Now on the front of this back block, you're going to place a redstone torch, then a repeater facing forward set to a 1-tick delay. Then you're going to wire that repeater up to the front block, and then place a torch on the front block. Finally, what you do is you wire both the front and the back block up to a power source, and it's done. You press the button, and the hatch opens for 1 tick. As you can see, you place a minecart in the entry ramp, goes up, gets stored in here, press a button, and out comes a minecart. It's that simple. As you've probably figured out by now, anything complicated that you're going to want to make with minecarts is going to require some redstone as well. And since this tutorial series is aimed at beginners, I'm going to show you how to build some of the basic redstone logic gates that you're going to be using a lot. A logic gate isn't as complicated as it sounds. It's just redstone wired up to change the output based on the input, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean right now. This is an OR gate. It's one of the simplest logic gates in Minecraft. This is the output, and these are inputs. An OR gate is made so that whenever any of the inputs are turned on, the output turns on. Building one is extremely simple. All you need are 2 adjacent blocks. You put a torch on top of one, a torch on the front of the other, and then redstone on the top here. This is the output. These are inputs. Over here we have an AND gate. An AND gate is designed so that the output, which is here, is only on when both of the inputs are on. Building an AND gate is also extremely simple. You just build 3 blocks across, put a torch on top of the 2 sides, put a torch on front of the middle, and then redstone dust on top of the middle. This is the output, and these are the inputs. An RS NOR latch is also called a memory cell. This is the input, this is the output, and this is the reset. When the input of an RS NOR latch is turned on, the output turns on. Then when you turn the input of the RS NOR latch off, the output stays on, and it will stay on until you turn on the reset, at which point it resets. Building one of these is also pretty simple. You just take 1 block, then go diagonally 2, and build another block. Put a torch on the left side of 1 block, on the right side of the other block, and then you wire the torches up to the other blocks. As you can see, this is symmetrical, and so it doesn't really matter which of these is the input and which of these is the reset. However, the input and the output must both go to the same block. Therefore, if this is the input, this is the output. And if this is the input, this is the output. We'll say that this is the input, this is the reset, and this is the output. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Next episode, we're going to be making an actual simple minecart station based on all of the components and principles that I've shown you so far. Stay tuned.